This is my Aprilia Tuareg 660. It's my new personal street motorcycle, and I just ticked over 1,000 miles with it. I've been having a lot of fun with this bike. I've been riding it on-road, off-road, taking some big long day trips with it, but it's not exactly perfect. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you a rundown on what I've experienced over the last 1,000 miles, the good, the bad, and some of the things I'd like to change. So if you're interested in this machine, this hopefully will help you out to determine if this is the right bike for you. Let's talk about what I've done with this motorcycle already. In terms of modifications or things I've done to this bike, it's been basically nothing. This is a bone stock motorcycle, and that's for a good reason. When I get a new motorcycle for myself, I usually spend the first 1,000 to 2,000 miles just riding the bike bone stock. That's so that I get a baseline of what the motorcycle does well and what it doesn't do so well that I would like to change. I don't really like modifying a motorcycle massively in the first couple hundred miles because I haven't really got a chance to know what I want to do with it yet. So on this machine, all I've really done is put a rock form mount, a USB cable to charge my phone, and a little tank bag at the rear. I'll actually show you guys at the end what I'm carrying in this tank bag so you can get a sense of what my sort of EDC is for motorcycle life. I haven't even dialed in the suspension yet. That's partially due to the fact that I'm busy renovating my house. I have a 4-month-old baby, and life is pretty crazy for me at the moment. But I'm sure at some point on a random weekend, I'll get the chance to dial in the preload and turn the clickers a little bit on the front and make the front end feel nice and dialed in. So it's a bone stock bike. I've been having a ton of fun with it. Let's talk about some of the good that I've enjoyed with this motorcycle. The first thing is the electronic cruise control. Man, for a big long trip, that is a game changer for me. On my desert sled, I had a throttle lock and that was already pretty good enough. But the fact that this motorcycle, you can just set it and forget it, it gives you a lot of leeway in terms of kind of cruising and sitting back a little with the bike and reducing your fatigue with a really long ride with the machine. I've put down some 9 to 10 hour days on this motorcycle already, doing some big long kind of day trips with it, and having electronic cruise was a game changer for me personally, coming from a more analog motorcycle. The other good has to be this engine. It's such a peppy, willing, fun motor. This 660 platform is truly great in both this adventure configuration and the RS and Tuono configurations as well. Truly one of the standout features, and it's just so much fun to romp on it, get the rear to slide around, and just pick up the front wheel a little bit. I find the size of the machine to be really, really good for me. I'm about 5'11", I weigh about 165 to 170 pounds, depending on how big of a meal I've had. I have about a 32-inch inseam, and for me, this motorcycle feels just right. It's not too big, it's not too small. It feels like a proper touring-sized motorcycle that I can go and do long distances with, but it's never felt too big or unmanageable for my size and skill set. Really, really nice sized. This bike will also really happily cruise at 85 miles an hour. It can do up to 95, no problem. You can even up to 100, 105 if you're trying to just pass people really quickly. Here where I live in the DFW area now, people drive like lunatics on the highway, and you have to take the highway to get to cool riding areas. It's quite different from Austin where I used to live. So slapping it up on the highway with this thing is actually really nice. You wouldn't expect something with a 21-inch front wheel and a pretty skinny little front tire to be as stable as it is at those kinds of speed, but it actually does really, really well, and I've been very happy with it. And honestly, the bike just does everything pretty darn well. It can carve up twisty roads, it can commute around town, it can tackle some light off-roading, it can do some touring. It really is a pretty sweet jack-of-all-trades bike, and honestly, I don't have much to complain about it. It's been very, very fun. It's got a lot of range for the stock gas tank size. I've seen about 200 miles pretty easily on one tank, and that induction sound that you get when you romp on it is just really, really sweet. Okay, so let's talk about some of the not so great stuff that I've noticed in the 1,000 miles I've ridden it. Engine heat is a bit of an issue. For me, it's not that big of an issue because I'm coming from the desert sled. That was an air-cooled Desmo motor. It just really, really was a very hot motorcycle. But I have noticed on my right leg, there is a little bit of heat, sort of in the 35 to 45 mile an hour range at above 5,000 RPM, you get a little bit of heat on your leg. That may be something if it starts to really be annoying, maybe in the summertime when it's really, really hot, maybe this engine will get even hotter. I'm not sure yet, but that is something that I've noticed with this machine that does tend to run a little bit hot over on the right-hand side. The dash could certainly be laid out better, and it could have some better data and just different readouts. Some of the space is a little bit wasted on the dash too. So at the top right, you have this thing that just always says Be Eraser. I understand that it's cross-platform with a lot of other TFTs that Aprilia is using, but I don't really understand why I need to see Be Eraser all the time when I'm riding my adventure motorcycle. It doesn't really make sense. There's also no range readout on this machine. I've cycled through all the different modes. If someone out there knows a way to show the range on the Aprilia Tuareg, that would be great. I did not find it in my extensive menu diving with this machine. You do have miles per gallon, you have trip, you have all of the data points that would suggest that the motorcycle could give you an estimated range remaining on the gas tank, but it just doesn't show it for some reason. You do have a gas gauge, which is good, and it will blink and tell you when you're running low and start the trip meter counting up from when you're running low, but I just really like having range. I also don't understand why half of the dash is either showing you like, you know, your average fuel consumption or your odometer. I don't need half of the dash to show me my odometer or that information. I'd prefer to have a bigger readout for the tachometer and the speed and the range and some other stuff that would make more sense on an adventure bike. But again, Aprilia is known for building sport bikes, and this is their first adventure bike in a long time, maybe ever. I don't really remember quite now, but they don't build these kinds of bikes very often. So the dash is a little lacking in my opinion. I've also never really liked Aprilia's cruise control system. I still don't really like it. Having electronic cruise is really great, but the system itself is kind of weird where you press and hold it and then it flashes in two different places constantly until you turn it on. I don't really need that. It could just maybe have a little yellow light that says cruise is activated, and then you could activate cruise that way. The cruise control system is just really, really not ideal. I think back to the last motorcycle that had cruise here in the shop, and it was the MT-09 SP, and that cruise was just perfect. I wish that this motorcycle had cruise like that. The windshield is a little bit awkward for my size. This is a personal preference thing and your results may vary, but I find that there's not enough wind in my chin to where I feel like there's enough airflow to my face. That might be something I dial in with the modifications, but that to me is just something that, you know, for my size, it maybe not work. Again, if you're a larger rider, maybe you'll sit above the windshield to get plenty of wind and it just protects most of your chest. But for me, on hotter days, it kind of feels like there's a weird pocket of hot air that I'm breathing, and I feel like I have to get my head out in the wind to really get some nice fresh air in. But so again, I might swap out the windshield and change it out a little bit. I did the first service myself on this machine. I didn't feel like filming it or showing you guys because that's pretty boring. Everything looked to be okay. I went through the manual and went through the service record to make sure that everything was tip top. I checked all the bolts it asked me to check. I adjusted the chain, got it to be in the correct spec, changed the oil. On the oil change, however, the filter, I don't know if the motorcycle was made on a Friday or what was going on, but the filter was torqued to about, I would estimate maybe 100 foot-pounds of torque. I had to actually drill the filter, stab a flathead, and crank it to get it off. It was quite a messy job to get the filter off on the bike, so that was a small thing. The sweepstakes for the Ninja 500 is almost over. At the end of November, your chances to win this bike will be gone. Head over to the website, become a member on yammynoob.co to get your best chances to win this Ninja 500. I've given away over 54 motorcycles on my time here on YouTube, so I think I know what I'm doing. Head to the website, don't miss your chance to win. This one is gonna be gone before you know it. The other thing I've noticed is around the engine case and around the exhaust flange, there's a bit of like gunk that's like sort of dripping off of the motorcycle. That probably is due to like maybe sealing gasket or sealing you know, chemicals that they put whenever they put the engine together, and then the heat over time makes them dribble down. I've not really seen that on other motorcycles that I've really noticed, so it doesn't seem to affect the performance at all, but you know, just a small detail that I may want to clean up eventually. But so far, that's really it. It's been pretty stress-free, pretty worry-free. I've not had any reliability issues. I do have a service light on the motorcycle right now just because I need to take it to the dealer to clear that first service light. That's the only reason it's on. But some mods that I'm planning to do, as I said, I want to set and adjust the suspension. Just at some point I need to dial in the preload and get the clickers all dialed in and make sure that it's perfect. But honestly, I haven't even bottomed it out yet, and I've taken it off some pretty stupid stuff that I probably shouldn't have. And it just, I like how stiff the suspension is and how long travel it is from the factory. It's already in stock form, over capable than what I'm going to do with it. I have very low and realistic expectations for what I want to do with my adventure bike. I am not planning on taking this motorcycle on single track or insane rocky trails. I have nothing to prove to anyone. I just like riding my bike. And honestly, the stock suspension's working great for me. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I feel like there's an old forum quote that's like, stockliness is close to godliness. And I just really find that a stock motorcycle is best. Because if anything goes wrong, I know that it's something that actually has gone wrong and not something that I did to it. So yeah, it's been going great. I certainly want to get the Aprilia quick shifter up and down for this machine. It feels like it absolutely needs it. It feels kind of strange for this motorcycle to not have it. So I'm definitely going to buy that and install that. I think it's just a plug and play module if memory serves me correctly on this machine, but I'm definitely going to get with my dealer and see what I need to do specifically. If I need to activate it in the sub menu or do something, but I really, really want the quick shifter up and down. I kind of don't really like clutching it up myself. I think I'm also going to add in some heated grips. Winter is coming here. Now, I do live in Texas. It's not going to get that cold, but if I'm going to ride in 45 to 50 degree weather, having some heated grips does help a little bit. I'm also going to install a comfort seat on this machine eventually. This isn't something that is absolutely essential. I've done 6 to 8 hour days on this bike and it was okay, but I think if I could just amp up the comfort level a little bit, it would make it so that I'm not as fatigued at the end of the ride and I could manage it a little bit better too. I'm also going to put on some proper bark busters on this machine. I still have the stock plastic hand guards, wind guards really, they're not even hand guards. Just in case I do end up going down with the motorcycle off-road and I snap a lever, with these, that would not be a good day. So if I get a proper bark buster, I kind of ensure my odds a little bit. And in terms of kind of rides and things I'm going to be doing with this bike, for now, the holidays are coming up, winter is coming up. It's probably pretty unlikely that I'm gonna do some big multi-day trip with this thing. That's probably only gonna happen in the spring when things get a little bit warmer, things are a little bit more calmed down. There's not as much family and holiday commitments. So I'm thinking that I will probably do a multi-day trip kind of northwest here of Dallas. There's a cool area sort of south of Arkansas, east of Oklahoma, some really nice mountains over there. My family and I are planning to spend the summer hopefully somewhere cooler like Colorado in July and August timeline. I'm certainly going to bring the Tuareg along for some beautiful mountain rides out in Colorado. Maybe we go to California as well. I haven't decided yet, but this bike will certainly not live its whole life in Texas. I want to get it out to some mountains, have some fun with it, use it in the environment that it was designed to be used for. And of course, I will be taking it on track. I'm really, really excited to do that. I'm hopefully going to do that sooner rather than later. I just want to see what it'll do. I think it'd just be hilarious to make that as a video. Just riding my adventure bike on track. It'll probably get like 15,000 views and be a total stinker, but I'll have fun doing it. So that's all that matters. All right, let me show you what's inside my everyday carry bag on this machine and then we'll wrap up this 1,000-mile review. All right, so here's the bag I use on the bike. You'll see here is a small air tag. Use that just for safety and in case I lose GPS signal or phone signal, somebody knows where I am. That's my wife. That's the only person that really cares where I am at any time. Inside of here, I've got wet wipes. That's the first thing. These are actually really useful. You wouldn't think that they are, but to wipe off your visor and stuff, really love having wet wipes. I've got a ton of zip ties just in case you know, you need to put something back on that has fallen off. A little rubber band there. This is my tire inflator kit. I actually put it in a plastic bag because it reduced down the space. So it's got the X-Acto knife, the plunging tool, all the little plugs that you see. This is great because the bike is a tubeless setup and I didn't need to do that from the factory. So really nice. This is my inflator kit. This is a small tire inflator that is using off of an SAE lead on the battery. Not sponsored by motopumps.com or anything. This is just a great one that I found. Works really nice. There is a small pen gauge to check the PSI there as well. This is my small little toolkit that I keep with me. This is actually cool. This is from my Husqvarna FE501, and I really love the way this tool roll was set up. So I've got a couple different wrenches. This really neat little system of a bunch of different Torx bits and hex keys. That's really useful. A couple Phillips heads, a flat head, a couple different tools like that. That's a really nice one to have. And then what else on here? But yeah, this is just like a simple little like day pack that I have. So it's not too crazy. Just a little Leatherman, you know, you never know when you need to pinch or pull or cut something. I have this Park Tools hex key kit. These are really nice to have. If you guys don't know, bicycle tools are designed to be as small and as light and as compact as possible to fit inside of a saddlebag on a bicycle. So a lot of times if you want to get super compact stuff for your motorcycle, search under bicycle tools. That's a little Yamadube pro tip. There's that pen gauge I was telling you guys about, measure the PSI. And of course, I also keep a little disc lock as well if I'm taking the bike on a big trip or I'm parking somewhere that I feel is not going to be super secure for the motorcycle. I love having this to just put on the front, just a little added layer of security. But that all fits in this really tiny tank bag that I put on the back because I didn't feel like getting a whole luggage system just yet. I eventually will, but for now, my backpack and this small pack has been doing me just fine. So, folks, that's going to wrap up my 1,000-mile review on my beautiful Tuareg 660. Thanks again to Aprilia for giving me this motorcycle. It's been a ton of fun. I've been really enjoying it, and it really, really fits the bill for everything I'm trying to do with it. And yeah, hope this video was helpful to you guys out there looking for a Tuareg 660, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Few things in life are a certainty. This Yamadube video being over is one of them. Death, taxes, and me giving away motorcycles. It's inevitable as the heat death of the universe. Head over to Yamadube.co while you're waiting for this next video to queue up and become a member. It's that easy. It's going to take you 1 minute. You'll get access to win all of my giveaway bikes. If you're tired of being sad and not owning a motorcycle, this is the best way to do it, folks. Keep watching Yamadube.